On the news, Senate passes vote of confidence on Godswill Akpabio-led leadership.
These our rules are also drawn pursuant to the Constitution of our country. So it's not a rule of men, it's a rule of law.
House of Representatives adopts reports of its Finance Committee on the 4 tax reform bills.
For our military men and women, especially those in war fronts, that in view of what they are going through, there is no sacrifice that is too much. And we propose that their payee, personal income tax, they be exempted from personal income tax henceforth.
Just as Martin Amehule-led Rivers Assembly issues arrest warrants for Chairman, Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission.
We've taken enough from him. Mr. Speaker, I support Enebele should be arrested.
Good evening and welcome to NTA Parliamentary News. I am Stella Inameti. News reaching us indicates that the Senate has passed a vote of confidence on the Akpabio-led leadership with a resolve to continue to work for the progress of the country. This was sequel to a motion from Senate leader Okpeyemi Bamidele, who recalled the recent events in the Senate. He said no member of the Senate until recently was aware of the alleged sexual harassment said to have occurred in August 2023, but assured that now that the matter is in court, Senate will not stand in the way of justice.
We were elected to serve the people, and we are guided, whatever we do in this chamber, we are guided by rules. And these our rules are also drawn pursuant to the Constitution of our country. So it's not a rule of men, it's a rule of law.
The suspension of Senator Natasha, he stressed, was based on violation of standing rules as she displayed unruly behavior and disorderly conduct, adding that law and order can only be ensured in the legislature through respect for rules.
She went to Bibrakete Radio and she went to Arise Television and she distorted the facts. I'm aware further that she has now externalized the matter by attempting to embarrass the Federal Republic of Nigeria by going to give a narrative at the IPU UN event, totally different from what occurred in the Senate. But I want to thank our Right Honorable Member, Kafilat, right? That's her name. Kafilat Okwara, who had to give a press conference in New York to caution the international press not to vilify Nigeria, but to note that the facts presented by her were totally out of tune with what occurred in the Nigerian parliament, and that we have our own internal mechanisms.
Also, the House of Representatives has adopted the report of its Finance Committee on the 4 tax reform bills. This followed clause-by-clause consideration of all relevant amendments on the bills at the Committee of the Whole. Some of the amendments include retention of the value-added tax rate at the current 7.5% as opposed to a staggered increase, as well as an extension of income tax exemptions to specific agricultural businesses.
For our military men and women, especially those in war fronts, that in view of what they are going through, there is no sacrifice that is too much. And we propose that their payee, personal income tax, they be exempted from personal income tax henceforth. This is our submission.
What you have before us is a reflection of Nigeria, Nigeria's interest, Nigeria's agitations, and Nigeria's inputs into what they feel should be the revised tax bills for Nigeria.
Mr. Speaker is right. Every shade of Nigeria was represented in that deliberation. And you can see from the clause-by-clause readings today that there was no dissecting voice.
And I can tell you boldly that even though we are from the opposition, we are so proud of this historic moment that is going to bring more people into the tax net and is going to create more revenue for effective running of government.
All contentious areas have been resolved collectively, even at the level of the Committee on Finance. There is no any section that there has not been an agreement on.
The exempted ones in the tax, and this is the essence of the reform. If you consider that of the military, I think they deserve more than that.
What we did was an offshoot of the submissions that we got from the public. It was never seen as a perfect document. It was a proposal from the executive, and the public hearing provided the Nigerians with the space to actually make it a better document.
With the adoption of the report on the tax bills, the House of Representatives is working towards eventual passage of the tax bills at the next legislative sitting. Meanwhile, the Senate has called for the establishment of a military base in Gwe West local government area of Benue State to prevent spate of attacks on communities. Lawmakers also urged security agencies to restore law and order in all the troubled spots. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the appeals were in response to recent security breach in the state.
The latest attack in Benue State, suspected to have been carried out by bandits, said Senator Titus Zam, left scores dead as he laments the consequence of the attacks.
The incident attacks by bandits on Jarawa community and Gwe West local government area of Benue State will significantly impact on food production and agricultural activities.
Those of us elected on the platform of this Senate are endangered species because our communities think, and unfortunately very wrongly, that it is our responsibility to provide security.
The federal government should establish a military presence.
Succor will come to the people there, and a military base will be established in order to save lives and forestall future occurrences.
Senate mandated an assessment visit to the area and observed a minute's silence in honor of those killed. Other features at plenary include the second reading of the bill to establish Federal College of Vocational and Technical Studies in Ikire, Osun State, sponsored by the Deputy Minority Leader.
As a country, we must, as a matter of priority, encourage technical skill acquisition to align with the global paradigm shift, especially now the artificial intelligence is taking over most of the human activities in the labor market.
The world is a global village, Mr. President. The next big thing is, of course, technology.
Bill to establish Federal University of Geomatics in Oyo State also passed second reading.
The scope of technological advancement in geomatics, which has revolutionized many industry and markets such as infrastructure, environment, security, and even healthcare. This has made a need for a specialist university absolutely necessary.
In order to give us the requisite manpower in that very technical aspect of geomatics where we have that of manpower in this country.
For us in Nigeria to move with the world, to have a better understanding of our environment, it is very necessary for us to graduate from ordinary surveyor institution to a more scientific one.
Gender Equity Bill and Electoral Offences Commission Establishment Bill were among 5 that passed first reading. Meanwhile, Senate, after a closed session, asked the Finance Committee to expedite action on the tax reform bills undergoing legislative process. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
In the meantime, the House of Representatives has raised alarm over possible spread of cases of diphtheria in the country. The Green Chamber during plenary urged the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare to conduct a nationwide vaccination campaign, especially in schools, to curb the spread of the disease. National Assembly correspondent Mitaire Ikben has details.
Diphtheria, a bacterial infection, affects the nose and throat, with difficulties in breathing and swallowing among symptoms. A motion of urgent public importance by House spokesman Akinrotius expressed concern over the outbreak of diphtheria at the boarding section of King's College in Lagos, leaving a 12-year-old student dead and several others hospitalized. Citing NCDC data indicating almost 25,000 cases in the country, with more than 1,000 fatalities across 18 states, lawmakers believe it is high time health authorities swung into action to protect public health.
To take immediate and decisive measures to strengthen health and safety protocols in all federal unity colleges, with particular attention to addressing the situation in King's College, Lagos. Engage with relevant agencies, including the NCDC, to assess and enhance infection prevention and emergency response measures in federal schools.
The House passed bills to enact the Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Act, as well as establish the NYSC Trust Fund and the Southwest Development Commission.
To receive and manage funds from allocation of the Federation accounts, including donation and gifts for the reconstruction, and to tackle the ecological, environmental, and other developmental challenges in the region.
Other bills passed at Wednesday's plenary include amendments to the acts establishing the Southeast Development Commission and the Northwest Development Commission. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
In another development, the House of Representatives Committee on Environment is assuring Nigerians that the proposed bill on environmental, social and health impact assessment, ESHA 2025, will serve as a legal framework that will ensure that all projects undergo thorough assessments to mitigate risk and maximize benefits. The affirmation was made during the committee's engagement with stakeholders on the proposed bill. National Assembly correspondent Joshua Ogunjide reports.
The committee commended the effort of stakeholders in the initial drafting of the bill, saying the Standing Committee on Environment looks forward to more engagement as the process of the passage of the bill continues. In focus is the impact of mining activities alongside renewable energy on the health, water source, and lifespan of occupants of the host communities.
Reenactment of the Environmental Impact Assessment Act passed first reading today. Our proposal in the National Assembly and as a Committee on Environment led by the Chairman, Right Honorable Julius Pondi, is to expand the Environmental Impact Assessments to not just only be an Environmental Impact Act, but also Environmental, Social and Health Impact Assessment Act, so that the projects that we execute in Nigeria in the public sector and the private sector can take it into account not just environmental impacts of this project, but also the impacts on the social welfare of our people and impact on the health of our people. And this is very important because Nigeria is exploring new areas of economic expansion, especially in the areas of renewable energy and mining.
As the provision of the EIA Act 1992 is no longer applicable, the Environmental, Social and Health Impact Assessment Bill aims to safeguard both people and nature from the adverse effect of unchecked development.
When it's enacted, it will serve as a legal framework to ensure that all projects in Nigeria undergo a thorough assessment to mitigate risk and maximize all the benefits.
We have been bedeviled with so many projects not being carried out properly because the framework for such has not been in place, or even if it has been in place, there are always loopholes or gaps that people take advantage of to circumvent the government, the authorities, the communities, and the beneficiaries of this project. So for us, it's a very big feat because for Oxfam, we believe that fairness, justice, and equity and inclusivity is something that we must always look at as a watchword in everything we do.
These legislative advocacy's goal is to enhance swift passage of the bill, as well as shape a future where development is not just about progress, but about the people, planet, and prosperity. From the National Assembly, Joshua Okujide, NT News.
Rivers State House of Assembly issues an arrest warrant for the chairman of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, Justice Adolphus Enebeli, retired. Details of these and more reports from the Ogun State House of Assembly will come shortly after these messages. Do stay with us.
On NTA Parliament, we unite day and night. NTA Parliament, the voice shining so bright in the hall of power. We take our parliamentary discussions across the land as it is. NTA Parliament, your source of insights, bringing the Parliament into your homes, debates and decisions clear and true. For the people, NTA Parliament is here for you. From north to south, east to west, NTA Parliament covers every legislative quest. Our lawmakers working for the nation's good in the heart of democracy. So tune in now. Don't hesitate. Join NTA Parliament for parliamentary programs and news both day and night. We are on DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. Download Oya Watch TV app from Google Play Store to watch all NTA stations. NTA Parliament, your source shining so bright and strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. You're watching NTA Parliamentary News reaching you from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. You can as well follow us on the platforms showing on the screen for more updates. Moving on, the Rivers State House of Assembly has issued an arrest warrant for the chairman of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, Justice Adolphus Enebeli, retired, and his commissioner. This followed the expiration of the 72-hour extended ultimatum issued to them by the Assembly last week. Speaker Martin Amehule said the arrest warrant will compel the law enforcement agencies to bring them to the Assembly. Nkiru Onyejesi has details.
At the plenary, there were 3 items on the order paper, and they are the introduction of a new bill and modification of 2 existing laws. The new bill, titled the Rivers State House of Assembly Powers and Privileges Bill 2025, is sponsored by the Leader of the House, Major Jack.
The Rivers State House of Assembly Powers and Privileges Bill 2025, Mr. Speaker, a bill for a law to give the Rivers State House of Assembly the desired powers and immunity to be able to carry out its legislative responsibility pursuant to the Legislative House Powers and Privileges Act 2027.
The 2 other proposed amendments to the RISEC and local government laws are also presented. Commencing debate following the RISEC chairman's absence, members called for his arrest.
Gave them, the first time was for 2 hours, and the second time we met to get, we gave them up to today. And of course, they are not here. I think it's high time we make them understand that we are here for business and not for joke.
We've taken enough from you. Mr. Speaker, I support Enebeli should be arrested.
The Speaker puts it to a vote, after which he issues the arrest warrant, saying it will be shared with the police immediately.
Distinguished colleagues, those for 24, those against nil, abstention nil. By these voting honorable members, this House has therefore resolved that Justice Enebeli and other commissioners who failed to appear before the 10th Rivers State House of Assembly will now be compelled by this House via a warrant issued under the seal of the Speaker to the Nigeria Police to bring them here to answer questions.
Speaking on the sidelines of the event, however, the former RISEC commissioners say they resigned in obedience to the Supreme Court.
Because of the nature of things and the recent Supreme Court judgment, there is no need for me to deceive myself while I remain in the House. The election that was conducted last was annulled by the Supreme Court of Nigeria. So I think I cannot be there again to keep deceiving myself. So I had to exit my being a member of RISEC.
Anything about election guideline or new date for election should be fixed. It should be discussed.
Also considered were a bill to repeal the Rivers State Local Government Law No. 5 of 2018, Rivers, and reenact the Rivers State Local Government Law to make provisions for the structure and functions of the local government. In Port Harcourt, Nkiru Onyejesi, NTA News.
The Ogun State House of Assembly is urging the state governor, Dakpo Abiodun, to exempt essential workers and those in vital supply chains residing along the Ijebu-Ode-Mojoda-Ekpe Expressway from paying toll fees while plying the highway to encourage effective service delivery from the grassroots workers. The lawmakers also want the governor to provide enhanced manpower and logistics support for the State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Agency. Yemi Dalemo has details.
The passage of the resolution sponsored by the Minority Leader Lukman Adeleye on exempting essential workers working around Imaka, Idiru, Itamapako and Odonoko along the Ijebu-Ode-Mojoda-Ekpe Expressway aims at providing financial relief and encourage effective service delivery from the workers who are working in rural communities.
That this House urges the State Office of the Public-Private Partnership to include in the list of those exempted from this toll application the teaching and non-teaching staff of public primary and secondary schools in Imaka, Idiru, Emure, Federal Housing Estate, Ikoto, Itamapako, Odoloko, Odoroka, and environment. That the public health workers and the communities mentioned above be also exempted from the toll application.
The opinion of this honorable house that teachers and essential workers, including healthcare professionals, first responder emergency service personnel, and those in vital supply chain be exempted from paying toll.
The House also adopted another resolution calling on the governor to consider the recruitment of more manpower and procure additional technological equipment to improve the operations of the State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Agency TRACE in road safety and traffic management, sponsored by the Chairman House Committee on Transportation, Wasiu Ayodele.
Propose that the state government should consider the recruitment of 1,000 personnel for the TRACE to meet a rising the traffic management demand.
In another development, the lawmakers hosted members of the Spinal Cord Injuries Association of Nigeria, led by the president of the association, Abdul Wahab Matepo, and a gender-based group seeking amendment to restrictive abortion law to protect victims of rape, incest, and those with underlying medical conditions, as well as the Nigerian Cancer Society Ogun State chapter, led by the secretary of the association, Dr. Lateef Salako, who were on advocacy visits to the assembly.
It's the only state that is not implementing disability law. Ogun State is the only southwest state that is not implementing the disability law. And in the whole of Nigeria, 16 states are not implementing disability law. 16 states, which is one of them. And so the Ogun State law has been in the list of laws part of the State House of Assembly since 2017, but it is not being implemented. And we came up with this idea. When we came from the grave, we hear that people say the law is not implemented. And if the law is not implemented, there are ways to solve it. Whether amendment or the period of people
to see area where we can actually have collaboration, because we know the pivoted role of House of Assembly in terms of shaping policy and also legislative strategy, so that the healthcare and also the well-being of the state people within that perspective.
The Speaker, Oludaisi Elemide, promised that the State House of Assembly would assist in giving necessary legislative backing to issues presented by the groups. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
Still in Abeokuta, the Ogun Assembly has adopted a resolution calling for indigenous participation in the divestment of a cement company in a Wekoro local government area of the state to safeguard the state economic and environmental interest. The legislators also urged the state government to immortalize the late former Deputy Chief Whip of the House of Representatives, Adewumi Oriyomi Onanuga. Yemi Dalemo again has details of these and other engagements of the lawmakers at plenary.
The resolution on the divestment of the cement company situated in Ewekuru area of Ogun State followed the debate on the motion led by the Chairman House Committee on Commerce and Industry, Adebisi Oyedele, while other lawmakers who supported the motion note the significant contributions of the company to the state's economic development through job creation, infrastructure development, and corporate social responsibility initiatives. The lawmakers say the sale of Lafarge Cement plc to a foreign entity without prioritizing local investors may lead to capital flight, loss of local control, and reduced accountability to the host communities, and called on the state government to urgently engage relevant federal government agencies, including the Bureau of Public Enterprises (BPE) and the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, and advocates that local investors should be prioritized in the divestment process.
The sales of Lafarge Cement plc present a crucial economic and environmental concern for Ogun State. While we welcome investors that promote industrial growth, we must ensure that our local investors are not sidelined in favor of foreign dominance.
It is the opinion of this Honorable House that the state government direct the State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, to provide immediate reflect to victims of storm that occurred at Ikomba Community, Odubulu, conduct damage assessment and develop rehabilitation plan for damaged public infrastructure within the affected area.
In another development, the lawmakers extolled the virtues of a former deputy chief whip of the House of Representatives, Adewumi Ononuga, and urged the Ogun State government to immortalize her by renaming the High Court Junction to Shimawa Road in Shagamu and some of her projects after her. The Assembly also paid glowing tribute to 4 other eminent personalities in the state who died recently. The Assembly equally passed another resolution calling for the rehabilitation of Bilikisu Shugbo Tourist Center and the road leading to the legendary Tourist Center in Okeeri, Ijebu North East local government area of the state. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
And this is where we draw the curtain on our news for this evening. For more updates, kindly follow NTA Parliament on the platform scrolling on your screen. Thanks for watching, and once again, I am Stella Inameti. Bye for now.